All right, how many of you lead a team? Awesome. How many of you lead at least one person, one direct report? Okay, and how many of you have ever been frustrated that your employee is not meeting your expectations? Sales aren't where they need to be, maybe they're not efficient enough, they just don't get that one thing even though you've talked about it 100 times. Yes, you are my people, I have been there too. And here's what I've learned. Your people are frustrated too, okay? 15 years ago, let's just go in the Wayback Time machine. I was a brand new manager going into my first round of performance reviews, and I was feeling pretty confident, like that I've been doing this for 8 months type of confidence that new managers have. And if you had asked me, like, did you set clear expectations? I would have gone blue in the face saying, like, he knows what's expected of him, he knows where he's at, this is gonna go really smooth. So I go into this conversation and we're sitting across the table from each other and I'm laying out, how he's doing, the performance he's currently providing. And then I lay out, here's the targets you need to meet to get to the next level, to hit that promotion. And at this point I was like, oh, I'm such a supportive leader. I'm giving him the playbook to get promoted. And he looks at me and he just kind of like stops in mid-conversation and he says, I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand how to get there. And this was me on the other side of the table, staring back, no answer coming to mind. And I had this moment of like, that's your job. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do that for you. But then we come to the end of the conversation and both of us are frustrated and neither of us are closer to understanding what's going to get him there. And what I learned, looking back, what I've realized was I was managing the symptoms. Every time there was a poor customer satisfaction that came in, I would address it and give him feedback. Every time there was a poor quality score, I would address it and give him feedback. I was managing the symptoms that were cropping up as they happened, and I was doing it very well, but I wasn't managing why it was happening in the first place, the root cause of the symptom that I was seeing. And I've been developing leaders for over a decade now, and what I have found is there are consistencies and common threads throughout all people leaders. And good, well-intended people leaders are constantly missing the root cause of the issues that their people are experiencing and the symptoms that they're displaying, just like I was. I was doing it and leaders continue to do it. And what I wish I knew now, what I wish I knew then that I do know now is that it is fairly simple. It's not rocket science. It is fairly simple, but it does take practice. And what I found over time is that there are generally 5 root causes that are at the source of all of the symptoms that you're seeing. And now I didn't come up with this overnight, and like poor John had to struggle, with me through this. But it really changes the way that you approach your coaching. And it's like when I say like this is a simple thing that I learned, that does not mean it's easy. Like simple does not equate to easy, right? It needs to be developed over time. And the way I like to think about it is when you're like riding a bike on a dirt path, right? The first time you're going, you're like, oh, this is a little bumpy. Like, how are the tires gonna grip the dirt? Like, where does this turn go? How does that feel? Where does this path even lead? There's a lot of unknowns and a lot of questions. But as you continue to ride that dirt path over time, a groove forms, right? You start to develop a path that feels familiar. You're no longer questioning what's around the next corner. And so that's what I mean when I say it is simple but not easy. But over time, if you do it repeatedly, your neurons will start to wire together. And when your neurons wire together, they fire together. And that becomes second nature. So when you're going down that path, you're not worried about what's next. It just becomes the way that you operate. And that needs to be the shift that we make. Instead of managing the symptoms that you see as they come up with your teams, you need to shift to managing the root cause and managing a healthy system versus addressing the symptoms. Those 5 root causes that I talked about are awareness, capability, conditions, confidence, and motivation. And those are the 5 things that are going to be sometimes multiple things for one symptom, but 5 of the root causes that you're going to see for your people. And when I talk about awareness, it's, are they aware of the expectations behaviorally? Not just like, hey, John, here's the finish line, like make sure you cross it, right? Do they know what's expected of them behaviorally? And then capability, do they have the skill? Have they done this work before? Do they actually have the capability to do what's expected? And then confidence, fairly straightforward. It's, do they believe they can do the work? And conditions, like do they have the right conditions to be successful? Are they Kristoff from Frozen selling ice in an ice storm? Like he's not gonna make his sales goals. And then we've got motivation. Do they want to do the work ahead of them? Do they believe that it is important? And are they willing to do it? And if you can address those root causes, then it becomes this shift into accountability, right? And the way that you hold your team accountable is to the behavioral changes they have agreed to do to result in a different outcome. Instead of the, if you don't meet X by X date, you know, you're gonna be on a written warning, the kind of traditional sense of accountability. And when you can get to that point of accountability, it really becomes a partnership. And the partnership is like, I nerd out a little bit about it. It's like my exciting part, because I went from feeling like I'm managing these symptoms as they crop up to feeling like I'm partnering with my people to create a better outcome, to understand what's going. We're gonna try something for long enough to understand if it has a result on a change in the result, a change in the end outcome. And if it doesn't, that probably wasn't the root cause. If I am telling you all of the expectations and you're aware of them and you still don't meet the mark, like we're treating the wrong thing. We need to figure out what the root cause, and it's like the scientific method, and we're trying to get there, and it is fun and it's exciting, and your people are more invested in that as well. And then once you have that accountability, you naturally get more observation that is not triggered by a symptom that you are seeing. And observation is so critical to anyone performing at the top of their game. You think about professional athletes, they go back and watch tape of themselves playing in their sport, and then they adjust, and they have multiple coaches giving them feedback, telling them what to do differently. And high performers are the same way. We need observation and feedback to know what we don't know and see what we can't see, so we can make those adjustments. And some people think observation is micromanagement, and I hate that label, and we're all a little bit afraid of being labeled as such, and rightfully so. Workplace data shows 71% of people say micromanagement actively decreases their job performance. 71% actively decreases their job performance. So I understand not wanting to be a micromanager. But when I was talking with a recent client, I won't say she was complaining about an employee, but she was talking about an employee who was struggling. And I said, well, how do they perform in that area of their job? What are they doing? What have you seen? And she said, oh, no, I don't watch her do it like that. I'm not a micromanager. That's not my style. And it was this moment of we have to shift the way we think about observation. We lost it somewhere in this professional setting that observation causes too much of a threat response, or feedback after the fact is fine, but observation in the moment, that's scary. And we need to get back to where observation is a critical component to getting us to the next level. Once we have that organic observation and feedback cycle, that really changes the flywheel of your coaching. You're not waiting for something to happen that you have to address. You are seeing things as it comes up, and you are managing that healthy system instead of just treating the symptoms when they pop up. And that really changes the lived experience for you as a leader and for the people that you are leading. It becomes a partnership. You have better results faster. You see lasting change instead of just a moment of adjustment. And really, we don't have the luxury of professional athletes in a leadership position. You can't shoot 1,000 free throws before game day. Every conversation that we have as a leader is our game day. Every coaching that we have as a leader is our game day. So we have to get comfortable practicing with our people. And leadership is learned on the backs of our people. And we need to stop asking ourselves, why aren't they there, and start asking ourselves, what can we do to help them get there?